Welcome back. We're the Bourbon Junkies. He's Dan, I'm Sean, and tonight it's a little how much would you pay? Or how much should you pay?
How much would we pay?
How much would we pay?
Yeah. So sometimes you just walk into a liquor store and then like randomly find some cool bottles. This happens pretty often. Often those are trophy shells, but sometimes they're like mediocre pricing instead of just asininely high pricing. If you walk into a store and see any of these bottles, we're gonna tell you how much we would pay if we were the person that walked into said store and saw said bottles.
Yes.
But before we do that, we have to do a shelf thing. We've owed somebody a shelf thing for a long time. Because apparently we skipped him. Because he's an asshole.
You know why we skipped him?
I know why we skipped him.
Yeah.
Because Belcona's rye.
Yeah. It's one of our least favorite bottles ever. Bove. Mike Bove.
Thanks for grabbing a shelf.
Bove.
Bove.
Belcona's, Texas
I want to say
rye.
I appreciate you, but in this moment I really don't. If I'm being honest, in this very moment I don't appreciate you. It's rude. You're rude.
Not taking a big swig out of that.
Oh man. The back of that's not for me. It's for someone else. There's your shelf video. Now shut the All right, bottle number one. Most of these are gonna be allocated because most of these have a secondary value to them.
Y'all
That's kind of the extent of how
are
much
gonna
would you pay.
find really how curmudgeon I am these days.
Well, some of these I think we're both gonna be a little curmudgeon on.
Yeah,
Even though I'm often not the curmudgeon.
that's true.
Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend, once one of the most sought after finished whiskeys on the planet, I would say.
Yeah.
Today,
Now it's gotten to
Quite the
batch
same.
206 and it feels a little bit different, doesn't it?
I think they're 240.
Nip.
That is $175 MSRP. I think often can be found probably around 250 or 200 range.
Yeah.
The newer batches, I do believe, and this is just speculation, I believe they have younger whiskey in them,
Yeah, it tastes like
significantly younger whiskey than the older batches. The older batches, I actually think, were worse secondary at the time. They were 300 to 350 range secondary.
We got like a 22 or
Yeah.
something like that in the other set.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
incredible whiskey.
But 200 batches later, not so good, honestly. For me, I'm gonna stick MSRP only, 175. I'm not going 200. I'm not going 179.
I think the source of whiskey is worse.
That could be true. That,
know what I
that
mean?
maybe because they have done so many batches that the age statement really has dropped off on
Magnus used to have,
some of the finishing time could be changing.
in theory, Magnus had some of the best MGP whiskey on the planet for a while, along with Boone County and Blom. And I do believe that probably most of it's gone. So I
Doesn't
doubt
really
that
feel
it's,
that way anymore.
I doubt it's not going into there, or that it is going into there. I
All
doubt
right,
that.
next bottle.
I'd do 175 too. My price is retail too. Just, you know.
Now, see, you went with something that I would
That's our pick.
spend. I wouldn't.
That's our exceptional series.
Yes. So this is Rare Character Exceptional Series. These are Kentucky Malt. I think ours is 14.
13.8.
But there's some really crazy ones out there.
The oldest
are
is 15.
fantastic.
Yep, haven't had a bad one.
No.
I've had one that was like, that's pretty good. Didn't feel as unique or special.
Okay.
Every other one.
They are a little bit more expensive. What are they, 150 SRP?
200.
SRP?
That one was 200. Some of the secondary on these is 800,000 range. You
See?
can find certain single barrels for 400 to 600 in secondary sites.
Yeah.
Some of these, listen, if 400 is not the end of the world to you, some of those might be worth 400, truthfully, if I'm being completely honest with you. Ours, I would have paid 300 for one.
Yeah, I'd do 250.
Now, they are all single barrels, so they are all different.
Yeah.
That makes this one a little harder.
But somebody like picked these, you know?
Yes.
So that
Intentional.
Makes them, that makes them feel a little bit different, like less like shelf bottly.
The other thing I think you don't know is the MSRP on like the 15 year was like 400. That was MSRP on it. Now, here's the thing. Legacy Distillery,
Yes.
Hall of Fame distiller, made
Yeah.
that whiskey off the record. This has only been released under one other label ever, and it was a very sought after label.
Yeah.
So, very cool whiskey inside that bottle.
Yeah.
Very cool story behind it. The age, all of these are extremely old compared to the one that the distillery released.
Yes.
So it is very cool. It is worth paying up for.
Dan's got it about right there.
I think I would probably keep these somewhere around the 300 to 400
250
range.
is probably what I would do on these.
We'll save the funnest one for last.
All right.
This is something that Sean found in the store. Sean was that guy that I was referencing earlier one time on one day.
Yeah.
This is $200.
Yep.
Retail's probably like 80. 75, somewhere in there. Jack's retail is always low as hell.
It is. This was the 2023 special release, obviously last year. We had a sample of it and absolutely loved it.
It's good.
After we said we spent $200 on it for it, someone was like, hey, store down the road in Michigan has it for SRP. It's like, well.
Oh, really?
Didn't know that.
It
Anyways, I would pay $200 for that.
Yeah.
And not feel bad because Jack does limiteds way too well.
Yep.
They just honestly do. We've been really, really big fans of everything that has been the Heritage Collection. Their limiteds every year.
I'm with you on the 200. I would definitely do the 200 honor. We paid 200 for this and reviewed it.
I don't even feel like we got robbed.
No regrets.
Yeah.
None. That's an LE.
Just by that store.
Jack's LEs are always, in my opinion, some of the best values. Coy Hill was $80. Well, that's one of the best whiskeys ever made, maybe. So, this being 200, it sucks that the retailer got the markup, I guess, in my opinion, because Jack Daniel's deserves more money for these. Yeah. But I would do 200 again without a doubt.
They just started charging like 150. Retail's just now 400.
They released this again this year.
Hey, look at that, Jack 12.
This is last year's, but
yeah.
We
just got a sample of this year's.
Still great, if you're wondering.
Phenomenal.
Spoiler alert.
And TLDR, the 10-year got a lot better too in our eyes.
10 year's very good too.
We thought there was a really big gap between the 10 and the 12 last year. Had both samples this year. Feels a lot closer. The 10-year, yeah, come on.
The 12's a monster again.
The 10, really I think, took a step up. 12 stayed just as good.
12's just a monster again. If you see a 12 again, buy it. I don't know MSRP on this actually.
Doesn't really matter, does it?
Let's say $100.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably spend $250 on this all day.
Yeah, it came in second for us in the whiskey of the year.
Yeah.
This is a really high one. Now,
seven.
I truthfully believe in this one. I think I go to 200 to bunker one.
Oh yeah, that's pretty fair.
Put one back even.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Listen, these have been at Total Wines and stuff at MSRP. That's where this one came from, as a Total Wine. So very, very cool bottle. It's cool. This year's is way bigger of a release, so it should be more findable, which is great.
And like we said, it is phenomenal, truly.
Yeah, if you find one anywhere under 200, I wouldn't even question the price. I would just be like, that's a trigger pull. I'm good. But yeah, I do 200
it's a great 12-year bourbon.
It is great 12-year-old bourbon. You're right. The one that pissed everybody off. One of our favorite. Actually, the only thing that beat Jack 12 last year. Russell's Single Rick may have, but we didn't have it.
That would have been close,
We didn't have it.
13th Colony. Double oak.
Yep. Hey, Ivan, thanks, buddy.
They came under a lot of heat and scrutiny. People were suggesting they were smidging the rules just a little bit.
Sure.
And we don't think so much.
I think seemingly there's just a label issue there.
Yeah.
Probably is what's going on.
Yeah.
We're done.
Honestly, it's fantastic stuff.
Great.
This is
it's incredible.
What was it? 12 years, 11 years this year. That was the 2023 release. Double barrel bourbon, fantastic. It is a very, very sweet oak profile that we absolutely love. It is very dark.
There's whiskey that color though. People make it sound like there's nothing like. There's whiskey that color for sure. In the neck right there.
Yeah.
That's wild. Anyways, retail's pretty high this year, or last year. It's 200.
Yeah.
Definitely would pay retail.
Yeah, I did.
It did win whiskey of the year. Also wouldn't pay $500 for it.
I paid $200 out of my own personal pocket to have one at home.
Yeah.
Because we had one for the channel already, and I said, well, I would also like to have just one at home. So I spent $200 on it and didn't even think about it. Just, done.
I would go up to
$350.
Oh, wow, you're higher than me. I am the curmudgeon today. I was gonna say $300. All this is based on we don't have one, right?
Yeah.
So all this is based on maybe we tried it at a bar once. We know we like it.
Yes.
And we walked into a store and it was there for X price. That's kind of like the philosophy behind this. I think that you're right. I think if I didn't have one and I was like, man, I had it once and it was maybe one of the best whiskeys I had.
I just know how good it, because I gotta think.
Could be $325.
Well, think of hey man, how much are you gonna spend if you saw a George T. Stagg at $350? You gonna buy that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right.
It's not apples to
not 23?
caterpillars or anything. Not 23. But
spoiler alert.
It's fantastic. I don't know what you want from me. I really enjoyed this.
We'll just follow this up with something that we've had 17 reviews of in a row now.
Yep.
The new Staggs.
Well, they'll be coming out this month.
Yeah, not the juniors, just the normal Stagg. Not the senior either, just Stagg.
Wouldn't pay for the senior.
23 Stagg was just such a good nose.
Yeah.
And just
Very
that was about the extent of it.
Whiskey. Anyways, which one we got here? We have
that's
23B.
That one was just in here because I walked over and grabbed it.
That's fair.
Those I would go on the 23 lineup.
Okay.
And I'll bump into 24A because nobody's had it.
That's fair.
It's based on 23s.
Yeah.
175.
150. I'm gonna hard cut them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I do believe it's getting a little crazy.
It's getting risky.
It is getting a little crazy right now. I get it. A lot of people they always search for this.
True.
I'm also at a position now that I do have a couple bottles sitting around or access to a couple bottles.
It's getting gambly.
The 150, it feels like even a stretch for me right now.
Did I say 175?
Yeah.
I feel like you talked me down.
Yeah.
Because I was like, dude, 100 I'd always pay. And then I'm like, oh my gosh.
100 I'm in. I'd still pay $100,
sure.
gamble. I don't
pay
care.
125. We paid 150 for one that was great out of the 23s.
Yes.
So, and there's no regrets on it. The problem is, like you said,
we spent $200 for one that wasn't great.
if you don't know, and if there's going to be 3 batches a year, and the 3 this year are very different profiles.
Yeah.
So if you're going to get, let's say you're going to get all 3 at 150, if one's a huge standout, that could offset your bummedness about 23B, but because that one is not worth 150.
Too much.
Okay, I'm down to 150.
All right, cool.
I
150.
almost went down to 125.
Ooh, feeling a little
Man, you almost
spiteful
talked me
here.
off a ledge. A big bottle that just came out that we've talked about probably 100 times so far.
Yep.
Put it in a blind.
Yep.
Did pretty well.
Expectations too high.
Expectations were really high.
Way too high.
It's a Whiskey Row release. It's Old Forester 1924. It's the newest Whiskey Row release in the last 100 million years, except 1910, basically, as far as I'm concerned.
This is basically just 10-year early times.
Bib,
Yep.
but 10.
10-year
that's 100
early
proof
times.
too.
And I do love early times.
That's really good whiskey.
It is fantastic. So, I mean, it's legacy.
MSRP
10-year.
125.
115.
115.
Yep.
I'd pay 125.
I would pay 125
Once.
if I didn't have one.
Not twice. Wouldn't do 2. And I wouldn't bunker one for 125.
No.
I would do 125 one time though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's really not too much wrong with the whiskey. It does drink pretty good.
Yeah, it does. It's lacking complexity.
It is.
That's
for
it.
$115, it's a real bummer to have a 10-year product and go, I could just go find like early times and drink that and be like, all right, cool, I get the idea.
If somebody,
I don't need to spend an extra $80+.
I do think some of the early times too,
Yeah.
the ones that bat up, they don't all bat up, but the ones that do.
But I can buy like
are
4.
close.
I've also,
Stuff in Whiskey's metal screw top they sent us.
really good. Yeah, we didn't
what
believe
may have been a competitor.
Josh and Aaron how good that bottle was.
That one was really good too.
But yeah, these I would go SRP, maybe a tiny bit up.
10 up, $10. I don't even know what secondary was on those. I'm sure it's high as hell. I bet the first one was really high.
500, I bet.
Probably.
Yeah.
Man, I would have rather had a President's Choice is how I'll phrase that.
And you could have.
You know what I mean? All right, last.
Uh-oh.
And the cheapest bottle on this list.
Yep. Also, had a real high secondary for a while.
Traveler by Buffalo Trace.
Also, we were wrong. We can say this. Chris Stapleton is not sober.
Okay.
It was a misconstrued comment.
Oh.
He is cut his drinking back,
Oh,
he
just
said.
drinking responsibly.
Yes.
Fair. He didn't
said-
say he was sober.
He did not.
Okay, then that's fair.
He just said he was drinking more responsibly, cutting
fair.
back his
No, that's fair.
volume. So,
I do believe he did say he had a drinking problem,
yeah. Okay.
which then in theory when
You
you
would think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is supposed to be like $40.
It's 40 MSRP. Now here's the thing: day one secondary, 125, 150 range. Purchased, not up for sale.
Yeah.
Purchased at that.
That's ISO, baby.
Yeah, somebody did ISO at 125.
Oh.
So, how much did I pay for that? I would pay not retail.
I think they would have to pay me.
I'd skip it. I'd leave it on the shelf. Try it.
There are so many, just because it's celebrity brand.
Yes.
It says Harlan Wheatley on it.
Sure.
I mean, distributed by Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, it's on their website.
Definitely not their whiskey though.
I think everybody thinks that it's Canadian whiskey that Sazerac owns
And it
mixed
feels
with
like Barton.
Barton.
Yeah.
And
Young Barton.
The I don't know. There's nothing special about it. You know what? Your buddy, definitely one of your friends in whiskey has one. Drink theirs.
There are so
They're
many
not gonna drink it.
better, cheaper bottles.
Benchmark.
Wild Turkey 101.
Oh, that's
Beat the brakes off.
wow.
of this.
That's really true, actually.
And it's $25.
Yeah.
Even if that's not your profile, it's pretty close to what you're getting out of this bottle.
1792 small batch.
Better.
probably normal Woodford Reserve.
Yeah.
All of the cheap Old Foresters, both of them, blue and orange.
You can get 1897, which is Roe, for $42.
Yeah, you can. You're right.
This.
And that's the bottle in
90
bond.
proof.
That's 100. Oh, you're talking the red label?
Yeah.
You can get the bottle in bond for the same price too.
Yeah.
And I love the bottle in bond.
Better.
Yeah.
So I'm
You could cut the MSRP of this in half, buy a benchmark. What is our top floor?
Oh yeah, those are like
Done with your life.
$18.
Yeah, $18.99, and they're probably case stacked at a store near you. So they're all from Buffalo Trace. Like if you're like, well, it's Buffalo Trace. Well, then the whole benchmark line is also Buffalo Trace.
Actually, Buffalo Trace.
And so I think that this is such an interesting and weird bottle with it at a $40 price point.
Yeah.
From a distillery that makes some of the best valued. That benchmark series is incredible value.
In good whiskey.
So yeah,
we truly enjoy it.
I would leave that on the shelf as the price that I would pay. I would say thanks for making it. Thanks for letting us try it. We appreciate it. Cheers. No, thank you.
Yeah.
With all due respect.
That's a list. Let us know what you thought.
Yeah. Then we had a cheap bottle on here. For everybody that's gonna complain, here's a cheap bottle. This is $40. And there was a secondary value on it.
Stagg's only 60.
Stagg is, I think they did bump it to like 70.
Okay, cool, whatever.
Imagine finding a Stagg for 70 though. Man, I don't even care what batch it is at this point. It just feels like you're stealing.